My name is Dr. Aris Thorne, and I am the man who killed the world. It didn't start with a bang. It started with a promise, a beautiful, perfect promise whispered in the sterile quiet of a laboratory. The promise was named Aethel, a serum of microscopic machines, nanites, designed to be the universal cure. They would knit bone, purge disease, rewrite flawed DNA. Aethel was my life's work, my penance. My atonement was for my sister, Lena. She was withering, had been for years, a victim of a cruel genetic lottery. Her body was a battlefield, and she was losing.
You're staring, Aris.
I'm admiring my handiwork. Ready for the miracle?
Been ready for years.
My hands were steady as I administered the injection. My colleague, Kenji Tanaka, watched from the observation window, his face a mask of professional calm. But I knew him. I saw the tightness around his eyes. He thought I was rushing, that deploying Aethel, even in a single patient without more simulations, was reckless. The simulations are conclusive, Kenji, I'd told him 100 times. They're self-limiting, they repair, they become inert. It's perfect. Perfection is a dangerous word in our line of work, Aris, he'd murmured, turning back to his data. But as I watched the color return to Lena's cheeks, her shallow breaths deepening over the next few hours, the word felt right. Her vitals, displayed on the monitor above her bed, were a symphony of rising hope. By evening, she was sitting up, the tremor in her hands gone. By the next morning, she was walking. "It's gone," she whispered, her hand pressed to her chest, tears streaming down her face. "The pain, it's all gone." We wept together, a moment of pure, untainted triumph. Through the glass, Kenji gave me a small, hesitant smile. For that one perfect day, I was not a killer. I was a savior. The celebration was short-lived. The project was under military oversight, a fact I'd chosen to ignore. Major Eva Rostova arrived that afternoon. She was a woman carved from granite, her eyes missing any hint of warmth.
Congratulations, Doctor.
Your miracle has just been fast-tracked. We conducted a limited atmospheric test in Sector 4 2 days ago. Dispersal was effective.
Atmospheric? We're not ready for that. We haven't studied the long-term environmental impact. The replication
The protocols are sound, according to your own reports. The potential to heal an entire army in the field is a reality we can't afford to ignore.
The experiment is moving forward, with or without your blessing.
You've proven it works. Now we will prove its utility.
The first sign was beautiful. 2 days after the injection, Lena was examining her hand when she gasped. A faint silvery tracery, like frost on a window pane, was spreading just beneath her skin. "Aris, look," she said, her voice filled with wonder. "It's like starlight." I told her it was the nanites settling into her system, reinforcing her cellular structure, a benign side effect. But when I took a sample, Kenji's scanner screamed. "Their energy consumption is off the charts," he said, not looking at me. "They're not becoming inert, Aris. They're adapting, evolving." "To what?" I snapped, a cold knot tightening in my stomach. "I don't know. They're rewriting the definition of damaged. They fixed her primary condition and now they're looking for new problems. Only they're seeing healthy tissue as imperfect." The starlight patterns on Lena's skin grew brighter. Then came the twitching, a subtle involuntary flex in her fingers. Then her arm. It was a small thing, but it was wrong. Her movements were becoming angular, unnatural. "It feels strange," she admitted, her smile wavering for the first time, "like my muscles are pulling in new directions." Reports started trickling in from Sector 4. The news called it the chrome flu. People were developing the same silvery skin, followed by muscle spasms. The initial reports were optimistic, treating it as a bizarre but harmless phenomenon. Then the horror truly began. Lena's fingers started to change. I watched, helpless, as the bone structure shifted, her fingers elongated, the joints cracking and reforming until her hands looked like metallic talons. The skin shimmered, no longer looking like skin at all, but like polished, flexible steel. "Aris, it hurts," she cried one night, her voice distorted as her jawline began to shift, broadening, sharpening. "Make it stop." I couldn't. I gave her sedatives, but the process was relentless. The Aethel nanites were rebuilding her, not as a healed human, but as something else, something they deemed superior. The transformation was agonizingly slow, a grotesque, waking metamorphosis. The military lockdown was swift and brutal. One moment we were a research facility, the next we were a prison, with Major Rostova as our warden. The news from outside went from strange to apocalyptic. The chrome flu was not a flu. It was a plague of transformation. People were becoming violent, their reshaped bodies now weapons. The nanites were airborne, self-replicating, and out of control. Our lab became the eye of the storm. On the monitors, we watched the city we knew burn. We watched people, twisted into horrifying parodies of the human form, tear each other apart. The body horror wasn't just a violation of the flesh, it was the erasure of the person within. Lena was a prisoner in the clean room, her body a canvas of living horror. Her legs had fused together, elongating into a serpentine tail of chrome and flesh. Her eyes were gone, replaced by glowing optic sensors that tracked our movements with terrifying precision. She no longer spoke, but emitted a low-frequency hum that vibrated through the reinforced glass. The worst part was the recognition. Sometimes, in the tilt of her head, in the twitch of a malformed limb, I could see my sister, trapped, screaming. "My God, Aris," Kenji whispered, watching the feed from Lena's room. "What have you done?" Guilt was a physical thing, a crushing weight that made it hard to breathe. He was right. This was my creation, my sin. Rostova called us into the command center. Her face was grim, the granite finally showing cracks.
Sector 4 is lost. The contagion is spreading. The Aethel Protocol has been revised.
We are moving from containment to sterilization.
Sterilization?
We are going to firebomb the city, burn it to the ground, cauterize the wound before it infects the whole damn planet.
Kenji had been working without sleep, fueled by caffeine and desperation. He believed he had a way out.
It's not a counteragent. You can't fight them. They're too adaptable. But they're machines. They run on a network. I can create a cascading electromagnetic pulse. A kill switch. It has to be broadcast from a central point with enough power to blanket the entire sector. It needs the main communications antenna on the roof.
The roof is not an option. The city is overrun. We're evacuating in 20 minutes. The first firebombs fall in 30.
Your firebombs won't kill the nanites. They'll survive in the ash, in the soil. They'll spread on the wind. This is the only way to stop it. Permanently.
As if on cue, a shudder ran through the entire facility. A high-pitched screech, the sound of tearing metal, echoed from down the hall. A red light flashed on a nearby console. Clean room integrity compromised. Lena was out. The thing that was my sister moved with a horrifying, fluid grace. It scuttled along the ceiling, its serpentine body propelled by newly formed metallic limbs. It wasn't hunting us, it was drawn to power. It was heading for the antenna's primary conduit.
She can give us the time we need. It's drawn to the energy.
The antenna is the biggest source in the building. I can lead it there. Keep it occupied while you initiate the pulse.
Aris, no. The pulse, it will overload every nanite in its field. The energy release, you won't survive that close. She's my responsibility.
Hey! Lena! You want this? Come and get it!
The wind on the roof was hot, thick with the smoke of the burning city. The sky was a bruised, angry orange. I stood before the massive broadcast antenna, its spire reaching into the smoke like a skeletal finger. "Lena!" I screamed into the wind. "It's me, Aris!" The creature arrived on the roof, its sensor eyes glowing with an unholy light. It paused, its head tilting in that agonizingly familiar way. The hum it emitted changed pitch, a questioning, mournful sound. "I'm sorry, Lena," I whispered, my voice breaking. "I'm so sorry." I backed away, moving towards the base of the antenna. The creature followed, its focus entirely on the thrumming energy I was leading it towards. I could hear Kenji's voice in my earbud, a frantic countdown. Rostova was with him. They were giving me every second they could. As the creature coiled around the base of the antenna, bathing in the raw power, I ran to it. I placed my hand on the shifting metallic flesh of what was once her arm. It was warm. For a moment, the glowing sensors flickered, the hum stopped, and in the silence, I heard her voice, not in the air, but in my mind, a single clear thought. "Thank you." 30 seconds, Aris! Get out of there! Kenji screamed in my ear. I didn't move. I just held on, tears I didn't know I had left carving paths through the grime on my face. I closed my eyes. "Now, Kenji! Do it now!" The world became a silent, searing white light. I felt 1,000,000,000 microscopic stars ignite and die within my own body. I felt Lena's form shudder, then collapse, the unholy energy holding it together gone. The last thing I saw was the light fading, the angry orange of the sky turning to a soft, silent gray over a city of ash. I am Dr. Aris Thorne. I promised a miracle and delivered an apocalypse. I saved the world by destroying it, and now I am left with the one thing I created that will last forever: the silence.